Thank you. Welcome back. Going back to Ukraine, Vital shared some reaction to today's Poltava strike, which is, one of a number of strikes throughout the past week. Yesterday, the president told us that he has been clear about the boundaries of U.S. support to Ukraine, what we can do, what we cannot do. Can you please speak to why you can't do what you can't do?
So first of all, let me speak to what we have done, Alex, because I think sometimes people get lose that in the debate when it comes to the particular question that is being presented to us at one time. That is the United States that has supported Ukraine from the beginning of this war, that has marshaled an international coalition to supply weapons and ammunition to Russia to repel Russian forces on the battlefield and to hold Russia accountable, and in the same way that we have marshaled an international coalition to impose sanctions and export controls and other measures on Russia. Now, we have adapted our policy over time based on changes in the battlefield. We continue to remain flexible and look at changes in the battlefield and adapt and adjust our policy when necessary, something the Secretary has spoken to, and that's what we'll continue to do.
I mean, if you put yourself in Ukrainian shoes, you'll witness that Russian bombers are better protected than Ukrainian civilians, and they wonder, why is it that Russia still has free hand to strike
Russia
Ukraine?
Does not have a free hand. We continue to supply. We continue to supply Ukraine with air defense systems. If you might recall the question that you were asking me a number of times over the summer, why don't you do more to provide Ukraine with air defense systems? And then at the NATO summit, we announced the provision of a number of air defense systems that have been put in place to defend Kyiv and other cities across Ukraine. We continue to supply Ukraine with other equipment that it can use to push back on Russian military assaults, and that'll continue to be our policy.
On that line, Matt, there's also concern about the PDA, Presidential Drawdown Authorization, which will, I think, expire by the end of this month if the Secretary doesn't take further steps to allocate those $6.2 billion for Ukraine. Is the department considering any way to?
I'm not going to preview any actions before we take them, but I think one thing that you have consistently seen from this administration is a steady provisioning of lethal equipment to Ukraine throughout this war, and that will continue.
But last year you did let $1.75 billion expire.
And as I said, I'm not going to.
Assuring us it's not going to be a case this year.
I'm not going to speak to any decision. If you look at the totality of our assistance, the billions of dollars that we have provided in security assistance, including in the time period which you discussed, I think it's pretty hard to question our commitment, Alex.